Hi, really glad to have you here. It means the world to me. Thank you so much. So just a bit about yourself.
Hi, hello, Funke. Thank you for having me. Hi, everyone. My name is Clementina Busayo. I am an entrepreneur. I'm also the author of the book Profitable Entrepreneur: How to Start and Grow a Successful Ushering Business.
Okay, so the first question goes like this. So I want to paint a picture, right? I'm an usher in a congregation in Lagos, right? I'm in the midst of these people, this congregation, these pews. What is supposed to be going through my mind? What am I looking out for? What should I be aiming at? What's my target? What's my focus? What should I be doing exactly? So I think that's the first thing. What is my role? Just give an overview or breakdown of what you think should be an actual role of an usher in a church.
The question of a church usher in a church setting. The very first thing we need to know about ushering primarily is that ushers are there to coordinate, maintain orderliness, and we know that this is important because we do not want chaos, especially in church setting. So for a church usher, number one, alertness is important. Number two, emotional intelligence. Number three, kindness. The first one, when it comes to alertness, it has to do with physical and mental. And one of the things I say is that you can tell, for example, if somebody is not best fit for a place. And it doesn't even necessarily have to do with dressing. One of the examples I like to give is when you have nursing mothers and you have AC. Emotional intelligence there comes into play, where you should know that because of the child, that's the baby, you may not want to place that type of person towards where the AC is. Another way to look at it is somebody that has kids. Such a person might need the use of the bathroom more than somebody else that may not have kids with them. So alertness is that you are aware of your environment, you are aware of the people, and you are conscious of the atmosphere you want to maintain in the church. The next step to that is emotional intelligence, and the third one is kindness. A lot of times people do what they do unknowingly, but how you present that situation to them is very important. You just do not want to shut them down or rudely move them away. So yes, those are the first three things to consider in this scenario.
There's this very cliche thing that goes on in churches, especially in Lagos, since I've been to a couple. So like you walk into the church, right? Like you're a new member or existing member or whatever. Then an usher just spots you and rushes right to you and directs you to go and sit in this place. It has to be this place. It cannot be anywhere else. Is that right for a start? Can't I just sit where I feel comfortable in? I take myself for an example. Most of the time, I just want to stay at the back. I don't want any visual thing. I don't like being so visible. I want to be able to walk out when I want to as fast as possible without anybody spotting me. But is it right for an usher to literally just take you off your seat to somewhere just for the sake of arrangement? Because I know they have this aesthetics thing in mind. They have it all planned out. This section this aisle must be filled up first before this. But is it right for an usher to actually pick you up and zoom you off somewhere you don't really like?
I think in this context, consideration would be the word, and like we've been discussing earlier, from emotional intelligence and all, but this particular scenario you painted boils down to a word I call consideration. So personally, I don't like to wear glasses, but I do wear glasses, and because I do, a lot of times when I'm not wearing my glasses, there are places I don't like to sit. Anywhere that is flooded with light in a way that it reflects into my eyes, it's a no for me. So even if the usher has insisted I sit there, one of the things, depending on how the movement is, if it's like a very big place and I don't like trying to get the usher's attention, will mean that I'm going to distract the usher from attending to every other person that may be coming in. I'm going to take that seat. Once I sit and I'm not comfortable, I'm going to stand up and try to speak to the usher as to why I'm standing up and if there are alternative spaces. If the usher insists, unfortunately, because I'm not comfortable, I wouldn't, especially if it's church or an event where I really want to be able to have an whole experience, I would still stand up, because eventually what that experience is going to do for me is to cut my attention span from actively participating. So to the usher's side of the deal, it's for them to, that's why ushering is a ministry, and a lot of people undermine that. People just think it's about standing. It's about awareness. You just have to be people aware. You have to know, you can tell that this person is not comfortable. And I've had both experiences. I've sat where when an usher saw me, she was just like, okay, can I help you with something? Is there a way I can move you around? And she did that. Whereas I've had another experience where the usher insisted that no, I can't sit there. This is where I have to sit. And I tried to explain, and the person was not forthcoming. I just stood up, went to the restroom, and came back much later. So I think it's important for ushers to be self-aware. It's not totally fair to just whisk people away from seats or to insist that they sit in a particular place because of aesthetics. But I think consideration should be the approach from the person that is being ushered to the usher, and people awareness should be the approach from the usher to the person that is being ushered. I hope that helps.
Is any training required whatsoever to be an usher? Is anything necessary? Any course, any mandatory requirement or qualification for a person to think of serving as an usher in a church?
Yes, absolutely. Training is required for anyone who wants to usher in church. In fact, I think one of the other departments apart from Bible study that take training seriously is actually the ushering department. And I know from time to time that even with my experience when I was in school, although I was in the ushering business subunit, which was the decorating unit, from time to time ushers would not only go on retreat to sharpen their spiritual antennas and their other means of perception, like asking God for sight, discernment, and all of that. They also train by inviting people amongst themselves, reviewing what they do and what they can do best. Yes, absolutely. Training is a requirement, and it's also a graced position. So you have to understand the grace you have. That's one. Number two is also training is required. Even etiquette class, even how to walk on heels, some personal styling. There is a lot to do and a lot of benefits from training. So training is an absolute requirement, and I know from my own experience that from time to time church ushers are usually trained. So yes, training is a requirement for church ushering.
Okay, also I really want to ask this is quite cliche, but I mean, a lot of churches have classes to serve, especially churches in Lagos and across Nigeria. I know it's a thing, even globally. The members need to pass requirement classes to eventually serve in church. But this is you. I mean, this is your field. Exactly what should be the selection criteria for an usher in church? What's the right person? What's the right peak? What should be the person? What should be this person about? And all of that. So that's.
This is a fantastic question. The quality of your questions are really engaging, and I love it. One of the things that may reflect in my bio is the fact that I'm also the founder of Glorious Wheels Ushering Services, and we are an ushering agency that provides ushering for events. There are three things we usually say that is necessary and important for people or ushers that want to join us, number one, you must be ready to learn. Number two, you must be willing to learn. Number three, you must be willing to embrace correction and continuous improvement. And that is the thing. When it comes to criteria, number one, every ushering team must have their vision. For example, we say in our Glorious Wheels Ushering Services that we cater to corporate events, we demo products, we pitch for clients or on behalf of clients or to clients, depending on the nature of the event. So for those specifications, confidence is key. Emotional intelligence is important. So the first thing is that the ushering team has to have a vision. What do we want to be known for? Do we want to be known for our smile? Do we want to be known for our physique? Do we want to be known for how we engage people? For example, every time, one of the things we do is, if I'm serving a table, the first thing I do is an introduction. Hello, my name is Clementina. I am the usher assigned to your table, or I'm the person at this exhibition booth. Please, I would like for you to introduce yourself. I'm happy to demo you our products. Like, it's confidence is important for that type of role. Another thing is you have to be proactive, especially if you are driving sales for a customer. So when we go for exhibitions, for example, one of the things we do is to approach walk-in clients. So we are not just waiting for the people that would approach our clients' booth. So let's say, for example, Google decides to book Glorious Wheels Ushering Services for their exhibition, and they have a specific stance that include ushers manning those stands. One of the intuitive things that we will do as a business is to understand their products. Then what are the products that will be useful to the type of attendees for that particular event, and we would be able to drive our conversations around that. So an ushering business need to know what they are primarily about. For example, if you are more invested in weddings, celebrations, one of the things you know that your team members will require is stamina. They need to be people that are also firm, because when it comes to parties, people may want to not align, maybe in the time of food or souvenirs. So you need ushers that are firm to say, oh sir, we have already set this table. If there's an extra meal, we'll bring it your way, but for now we may need to serve the tables that have not gotten food. So those are the dynamics that would determine the type of ushers you have. On the other side is clients that require specifics. So in that way too, as an ushering business, you need to have the profile of all your ushers, so that in a case those clients want to choose, you have something to present to them.
So there's this thing, right? There's a particular trend of ushering in Lagos, especially Lagos churches. There's a way they do things, there's a style, there's a pattern. I believe you've been to most churches, or have a single church you fellowship with or at, but you've noticed the pattern, right? In churches in Lagos, how ushers dress, they some of them have uniforms, some just have an organized structure of what they should look like. But what's the ideal, coming from your end as a professional in this niche? What should be the ideal outlook of someone ushering in church?
So this is the approach I will take for this question. Just like I've mentioned before, number one, the vision of the ushering team is important. Number two, the goals. What do you intend to achieve for that particular event? That is very important. Number three, the type of guests you would be having. For example, if you have people that are differently abled or that need special needs, or you are attending to people that maybe it's around a pool area, you know that there would be a requirement for you to understand first aid. Either you may need an expertise of how to swim. You also have to be proactive in holding the door so that these people can actually be able to easily access the center, apart from the fact that the provision has been made by the location. So those are the criteria that would determine how or what the outlook of those ushers will be. What is the goal? For example, if you are going to also be doubling as a protocol, you understand that whoever is the guest has to be paid extra attention to. You understand that sometimes people may want to like interact or interrupt their maybe coming in or going out. You need to be able to pleasantly let them know that okay, this person has only this time to attend to them, and they have to be as brief as possible in their interaction. So those are the things that would actually determine the outlook of the ushering team, which goes back to the vision of the ushering team, the goal for that particular event, the specifics of that event, and the outcome of what the event is going to be.
And also, what is one thing that's really omitted in church ushering that should be included?
One of the things that I think is being omitted in church ushering that should be included is how we allow people leave church. Like I mentioned earlier, a lot of people just focus, especially ushers, they focus on only when people are coming in to church. When people are about to leave church, they may not be invested in interacting with them, encouraging them, ensuring that the area is still neat. It doesn't matter if you are renting the space or is your own space. We should reinforce the culture of excellence, and one of the very first people that can do it is the ushering team, because people get to interact more with the ushering team than the facilitating team members. So if it's coming from an usher that please let's lead with excellence, ensure that there are no biscuit wraps when you pick your children, ensure that you use the appropriate doors, ensure that you close this door when you leave, or you are taking offering, let's do it in an orderly manner. Those are many more are some of the things that I think is currently being omitted, and if we pay more attention to it, we would not only retain more people in church, we would also be people that are accountable in the society, such that some of these lessons that they take from church will become part of their lives, and they will live it out in their day-to-day lives even when they are not in church.
Okay, so would you like to add anything extra? You've noticed churches in Lagos could be bizarre, but how do you feel sometimes when you walk into a church and you see something off? What do you think can be better? How can churches implement this, or even begin to implement better structures and system for this unit and all of that?
How churches can begin to implement this is that, number one, have God's mindset towards God's work. And one of the things I talked about in my book, that's Profitable Entrepreneur, how to start and grow a successful ushering business. One of the topics I addressed in the book is the topic of famous place, and that was where church ushering and church ushers comes in. And I spoke extensively about the work mindset God has towards his church. I think a lot of time, because in a way because we know that we cannot see God like the human beings we see, we make it, or we assume that what we do for God is of less importance. So the first thing is to have a God approach to God's work. This is God's work. How does God see his work? God is invested in his work. I said here that you have to, that's in page 97 of my book. I said you need to have a work mindset. You should also attend your church membership training. I think this is very important because every church has its culture. One of the mistakes ushers made, especially people that may have been ushering from other places, is to think that this is how I always do it. I say it every time that the best way to get the best out of any event, or to be the best for every client, is that you have at least satisfied the criteria or the purpose for which they hired you. So how I put it is that the best way to serve people is to serve them the way they want to be served. So you have to understand the goal. What is the goal of this church? If we are saying that we want our front door to be wide enough and our back door to be small, that means we are saying that we want people to come into the church, love the church, and not want to leave because they found God and family in our church. Then as ushers, we must begin to see ourselves as people that can make that happen, from the way we dress, the way we smile, the way we talk to people, the way we interact with people. And I think a lot of times people only are invested in when people come into church. When people are leaving church, that same doorpost is a place for ushers to still stand and encourage them to say, oh, have a blessed week, have a productive week. This week, the Lord will go before you. Just say a word of prayer. And even when, depending on the type of church, especially if you have movable chairs, you have to be able to hold people accountable to say, oh, if it's a church area that may have opportunity for people to eat and maybe people move around while eating, you have to be able to reinforce the culture of maintaining excellence by people not leaving bottles behind, empty nylons, biscuit wraps. You have to be able to consistently do that, and how you do that is by monitoring, by encouraging people to do the right thing. So when they are leaving, you can encourage them, please do stack up your chairs. Like, this is the house of God, it's a house of prayer. You get, those are some of the things we really need to pay attention to. And I know that as we open our hearts to serve God in spirit and in truth, it's going to show us the things that we can do to also make our work with Him better. So yes,
you run courses on entrepreneurial, but I want to know if you have any offer or anything in particular for people who might be listening that probably will want to go to depth with this and improve the church structure with better functional ushering units and all of that. Do you have like any guide classes, courses, or something that you can guide them on? Anything existing, any from your end?
Thank you for this question. So currently I have a book titled Profitable Entrepreneur. That's how to start and grow a successful ushering business, and it covers from the qualities of ushering to why the ushering service is a business, models of ushering business, classification of ushering business, how to even choose a name for your ushering team, how to price your ushering business for profit, and how to attract clients and people that also ushers that would be able to drive the vision of your team. And I also talked about leveraging global opportunities to build your ushering business, as well as church ushering. And just to mention a few of the topics I covered in that book, that's one. Another thing I do is that I work with people in an entrepreneur mastermind group, and one is going to be going live in June, where people would have access to me. We would have these live classes where we teach about the business of ushering. People would also have questions that are specific to their business. So there is the general class where everybody attend, and there is this group one-on-one session where people would ask real-time questions. They'll get real-time answers, and they are able to also learn from other ushering business founders in the industry, and it's open to anybody. Currently, if you go to www.madebyclementina.disha, that's on my Instagram page, which is Clementina Busayo. You would be able to click the link to show an interest and join the waitlist for that particular program, such that when it goes live, you can be notified. Another way to also be notified is if you download the free chapter of the Profitable Entrepreneur book. We would send out messages to everyone that has downloaded for them to join the program. It's not a free program, people pay, and over a period of 6 months they get support. After that's 3 months for the real-time class, the other 3 months for them to be able to plan out and share their progress report. Of course, is as you do it, we expect you, as you participate in the class, we expect you to also share your wins and take actions immediately, because one of the things I realize is that accumulation of knowledge is not what changes people. It's putting into practice what you know, and as you put into practice what you know, you will learn more about what you want to do and as well as the environment you are in, and that would help you be able to adapt your lessons so that you can grow. And for anybody that is in their ushering business, please do not be discouraged. What you're doing is good. One of the things and the drivers of what we do at Glorious Wheels Ushering Services is that when we talk about the business of ushering, we are saying that we are growing the economy of the businesses where you find Glorious Wheels Ushering Services, and we are providing decent job for people. So because we are in this business, people will not find it easy to compromise, because they can earn good money, like they can be happy while doing their job. One of the things we've gotten as feedback is that for people that work with us, they're happy to work with us again. And I'm not just saying that for the clients, I'm also saying that for the ushers. So we are not just the team that are building a good interaction with our clients because they are the ones paying us. We also build good interaction with our team members. We are invested in their growth. We are invested in sharing opportunities for them to grow, share their wins. If there's anything we can help them to do in any area of their life, even up until the point of writing references, we are here for all of that. If we can verify that you have worked with us and you've done an excellent job, then we are happy to give you the much needed help in any capacity we can, so that together we can make the world a better place. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. You've been amazing. You are literally the best, and what can really describe what you've done right now? I mean, I don't even know, I was scared the crap out to reach out to you, but you won my heart already, and I'm really so glad I reached out. Thank you so much.